Well,
that's crazy.
I know. Facebook is stupid. Okay. It's live now. Good evening, everyone. Comment if you can hear me. Hello. Can anybody hear me? Well, Daisy and Tux can hear me. Comment if you can hear me. I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to get on. Oh, good. Thank you, Courtney. Yay, good. Okay. I'm going to give it a minute or two. I've got the victim already on the phone, and she is going to speak in just a few minutes and share her story about how all of this nightmare began with Jenifer Knighton. Because I know a lot of people are confused. A lot of people have been following and are doing a pretty good job of explaining to others in the comments, I've noticed lately. And we're going to refer to her as the victim. And we're not going to use her name, just to protect her privacy as much as possible. Even though Jenifer Knighton has doxed every single one of us to intimidate or harass us, which is just disgusting. But I think you guys all know how I feel about her. And let me just tell you that, you know, the victim reached out to me, I think it was like November, the end of November. We were trying to figure out the timeline earlier. And she reached out to me on Facebook Messenger, and we started chatting, and I knew she was telling me the truth about what happened to her. And I knew that I couldn't just hold that information and not do anything about it. So that's kind of where everything began. She saw all the conflict that was on. She had been following, you know, Jenifer Knighton, her accounts for years, ever since she was drugged and kidnapped. You can come up. Hello. You can speak now. I think we've got okay. An audience on.
All right.
And we'll get into it.
All right. Ready when you are.
I'll just say that, you know, we've grown pretty close since November and talk very often, and I know a lot about her story, and I think it's important that she shares her truth without Jenifer Knighton trying to control her narrative or her story. She's very credible. She works in public service. She's very smart. She's very well spoken, and I think you guys will see the same thing. So, victim, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. Can everybody hear the victim okay? Speak so they can hear you.
I'm here.
Okay.
Testing.
Yeah. Y'all let me know if you can hear the victim, because she's on another phone and we're connecting that way.
Can you hear me?
Can you guys hear? Angelica, can you hear? Okay, they can hear you.
Good.
So where do you want to start?
Well, I think a good place to start is that, in the internet back and forth, I think that it has been lost that I'm a real person. I have a real family. I have a real career. It's 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 disturbing what happened, but it's also personal to me because it was me, and I'm a person, and I feel like for the last 3 years since this happened, and especially in the last 6 months, that Jenifer has controlled my story, the narrative. She has decided unilaterally decisions about my life, and she has decided what version to tell of the story. And I think, I was very scared when this all started because she has inserted herself into my life in many ways and made threats. I've received cease and desist letters. My attorney received a cease and desist letter. My family have received text messages alluding to threatening that they about me talking. But I think it's important that I talk now because this might be the only justice that I ever get, and that is telling my story, taking ownership of my story back, and allowing the public to have information so that when interacting with Jenifer Knighton or people like her, that they can learn from what I went through.
Yeah, which is a very traumatic experience for her that she's had to relive with the FBI. She's going to have to relive that again this week. She's reliving that right now with you guys. And she's grown so much just since I've known her. And I know she's grown so much since what happened to her, which is horrific. And I want everybody to understand that this is a crime, major crime. The FBI agreed this is a crime. No matter how Jenifer Knighton wants to spin it and control that narrative, what happened to her is not okay. And I think for so long it was, how do I put it? I've believed her since day one. The FBI did validate that in their first conversation with her back in, was it November, victim?
December.
It was December whenever the FBI reached out to you?
Correct.
Yeah, and we kind of dealt with Jenifer Knighton throwing all this stuff out there to just confuse everyone, really. And I understand the confusion. That's what she's trying to do. She tries to paint herself on the Jenifer Knighton page as some saint, and then QX, she's harassing everybody that's investigating her, which is including myself, Dr. Matthews. I mean, everybody knows that Grizzy's got the lawsuit against QX, Eric Sanchez, and Jenifer Knighton now. Reading a comment right now. So we've not backed down to anything that Jenifer Knighton has tried to portray with any of us investigating her, and to keep the public pressure on, because we know what we're doing. Dr. Matthews knows what she's doing. You guys may all see it as drama and may not understand it, but Jenifer Knighton loves the attention, if you guys don't notice. With her constant posting on QX or her personal page, Jenifer Knighton, it's exhausting, to be honest. But I do have full faith that justice will be served, even if she thinks she's controlling the narrative with her daughter Jazmin. There's other victims, just like the victim that I have on the line now. So victim, I'm trying not to accidentally say her name.
Yeah. I appreciate
It's weird calling her victim. I mean, I do refer to her, to other people, as the victim most of the time, that I am referring to her, because I don't, I've protect her. We've tried to protect her as much as we could.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing that we should start with is that I never wanted attention. Jenifer has said that this is a hoax that I started because I wanted attention. I've never posted publicly. No one knows who I am. I don't share my story with everyone I meet. It's traumatic and it's embarrassing because I'm a professional and things like that don't happen to people like me, I thought. But I've never wanted attention. First, I think I should say I reported what happened to me immediately upon return to the United States in November.
Let's start back from the beginning. Like, how did you meet Jenifer Knighton?
Yeah, so I don't want to go into too much details about a custody case involving my kids, but I was in a custody case involving my kids. I felt like at that time the right idea was to get advocacy, and I made the mistake of thinking like that would help. It actually did not help in my case, and I take responsibility for that. But in an effort to get that advocacy, I was connected with Jenifer Knighton, who told me that she was a blogger, she was a journalist, a substance abuse counselor, and an activist, and that she had her own issues with her children in custody. So I shared my story with her on the phone. I never met her in person. I was living in Los Angeles, California at the time. I had just left a domestic violence relationship, and I was very traumatized, a very, very stressful period. I kept in contact with her by phone and by text a couple of times, maybe a handful of times over a period of 3 months. I think I was first put in contact with her online and through the phone in March of 2023. In May of 2023, I was arrested for an interference with child custody relating back to the custody case with my children. In Los Angeles, it was shocking. It was traumatic for me. I've never been in trouble a day in my life. I was in jail for about 30 days, give or take. When I was released from Los Angeles County Jail, I wasn't actually released onto the streets. I was released to a mental health hold because it was so traumatic in the separation from my children. I just couldn't deal with it. So I had a break with reality. I was talking to my children like they were there because I couldn't accept reality that the choices that I made ended up with them being sent back to Georgia with, where my family was. But
Hold on just a second. Courtney just commented and said, sounds like she preyed on your vulnerability. And I agree 100% with that. And I think that the victim is truthful to a fault, honestly. She's been very honest about everything and telling her story and the mistakes that she's made. But yes, I definitely think that Jenifer Knighton preyed on her. I think she uses saying she's an advocate and an activist. Where's the proof of that? Where's anybody that she's helped? Can anybody direct me that way other than it's a front so she can traffic people? But go ahead, victim. I'm sorry. I just wanted to read that one.
And I think it's important to note, too, I was not with my family. I had left everything in Georgia and moved to California. In a period of duress, it was literally fight or flight, and I went to California.
Who got you to come out to California? Let's talk about that, too.
Well, I had a friend that I had met online, actually. We had to be a mutual friend in person, and we had been in contact, and we really bonded. And I wasn't necessarily looking at California. I had actually applied to jobs in New Jersey and had a tentative job offer. But the friend in California told me that she would be supportive of me. I would have, a ready-made family there. And so when things kind of hit the fan and I was ready to go, that is where I went. But I did not have any family. I did not have extended support there. I had been working in my career there, but it was contract work, so I didn't have like roots down where someone would miss me. I had been in contact with my family, but because of the nature of my court case, I didn't tell my family where I was. They had no idea. They were concerned about me. It was unlike me to leave everything I know in my career, everything behind, and go to California. So I think it's important to know, like, I was alone. And I know that Jenifer knew that. So when I was released from the mental health hold after several days, I went back to my apartment in LA, and I was there for 3 or 4 days, not well at all. They don't hold you as long as they should. I wasn't a threat to myself or to other people. I was just distraught and, not okay.
A wreck,
I just wasn't a threat to anyone, so they let me go. About 4 days, if I'm remembering correctly, after I was released, it was a Friday afternoon. I had attempted to go back to work that day, but I got sent home because I was a wreck. And when I arrived at my apartment in Los Angeles, Jenifer arrived with that friend that I knew.
Can I just say that, if you guys go and look at the HHSC documents that I've continued to share, there's a written statement by both Jenifer Knighton and Terry Gartman that is this friend that they both admit to taking her across the border. Like, they had any right to do that, like, without her family's permission, without her permission. But just go ahead. I just wanted to jump in there if anybody wants to go look at those HHSC documents that I've shared that are their own written statements that we handed over to the FBI.
And to be very honest, I actually didn't know for sure how Jenifer ended up showing up in my apartment with Terry. I remember when I first got arrested, I spoke to Terry and I told her, like, reach out to my attorney, reach out to Jenifer Knighton, because I was hoping that it would help, right? Like, I was desperate. And after reading those statements, I found out that Jenifer and that friend...
Okay, hold on just a second. Whoever, and it looks like a burner account, docs the victim again, and I'll block you. Don't do it again. Go ahead. I deleted the comment.
It's okay. I expect nothing
It's
less.
probably Jenifer. I have no doubt that Jenifer Knighton is watching right now, and she's going to make her comments and try to control the narrative here. And that doxing the victim again, we're not doing it, Jenifer.
And I hope that she is, because she has gotten to speak about me like I don't exist. Like
you deserved what happened to you for some... it's just sick. She's a sick, evil human being.
And I'm not afraid of her anymore, because the truth is the truth. But yeah, so her and Terry started talking. Terry decided that I was a problem suddenly because I wasn't able to work and wasn't able to pay money back that she had helped me get to LA and had used to help support me when I first got there, which I was very grateful for, and I had every intent on paying back. I didn't.
But you also didn't want that expensive Airbnb. Like, you didn't ask for any of that. Like, right, also, it wasn't like you were using her in this situation. It's like she was also preying on the fact that she thought you were going to get a big settlement and throwing all this money at you, and then helped have you kidnapped, basically.
Yeah, and I think it's because also, she is a nurse in Los
Angeles. A nurse.
And I think that what happened is that when it hit the fan and police got involved and it wasn't just a civil thing anymore, I think she just wanted to wash her hands of it, right? Like, it was just too much and it was a problem she didn't want to deal with.
Yeah.
And instead of contacting my family or having a conversation with me, she shows up at my house with Jenifer Knighton. Jenifer comes to my apartment.
How did her and Terry... Did we already talk about how her and Terry...
I think when I was in jail, Terry had reached out to her online, like, trying to get attention. Okay, now it's a progression. She's been arrested, and then they started talking. And that's what I've gathered from those HSC statements. I actually didn't know until those statements
what her side of the story was. I mean, that was...
I literally had no idea. None.
And I mean, it was just, it shows a money trail. It shows, if you guys go look through their HHSC statements, just their own statements, it's a damning admission, really. And this was why the HHSC investigation was going on, is because Jenifer Knighton was claiming she was a therapist. Not only has she been, now she's a Fox News anchor. I digress. But she was claiming, and it was on her own flyers, that she was a therapist. So she was under investigation for that. And during that investigation and her response, I mean, just like Jenifer Knighton does, she just gives way too much information. And I'm like, you're showing the money trail. You guys are both admitting that you basically, well, I mean, you did. You kidnapped somebody, and showing the money trail and all of that went to the FBI and is with the FBI. So
yeah,
go.
and I mean, and I think, you know, and I'll address that soon. But she comes to my apartment and she tells me that we are going to write an article about what's going on, and she wants me to ride with her to Tijuana. And I know that sounds shocking, maybe, but
Not really.
In Southern California, it's common. It's medical tourism.
Yeah,
and
we're close to the border here, so I mean, it's not. It's just different area of Mexico, but it's not anything uncommon.
Yeah, same idea. And I wanted to take my car, and I was really reluctant to go, but I just kind of felt pressured all the way around. So I went, and I got in my car. I've caught a lot of heck for saying this, and I think this is where Kristen says that maybe I'm too honest, but she gave me a white and blue capsule because I'm supposed Terry had told her that I had been out of my medication. I actually had an appointment the next day to get medication filled since I had been in jail. And she gave me the capsule, and I took it. And I mixed it with other prescription medication, and I completely take full accountability for that. No one is saying that that was the right thing to do. No one is saying that I didn't have a prescription drug problem at that time. I openly admit that, but that does not excuse what happens next. And
she was in a fragile state when it happened and made a bad decision, but it didn't mean that she should be drugged, kidnapped, and taken across the border and lost 6 months of her life. 6 months of her life.
Yeah, absolutely. And I became incoherent relatively quick in the car ride. I don't remember much of the car ride. I remember bits and pieces. I remember crying at one point. And one of the most humiliating things that Jenifer has done, and she thinks it explains something, is showing me a picture ingesting a prescription drug in the car and like crying and being incoherent. That is awful.
She's done that since we started this investigation and posted all of that. She's tried to humiliate the victim as well. I mean, she's just a sick person. And I won't say to go look on QX. I'm sure it's still there. It's fucking disgusting. The things that she's done to try to humiliate her, to try to silence her, and every one of Jazmin's friends that have come forward, she's intimidated them, or the baby daddies, or everybody that's come forward. So the victim sharing all this with you is really brave, and it's taken her a while to get here. So go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, so it's dehumanizing, but it's also insightful because it shows you what kind of person she is. If she was truly looking out for my well-being, why would she be taking pictures of me in that state?
To humiliate you later whenever you speak out against her.
Or to justify what she did. And also, here's the other question. She has said multiple times, like, oh, she became incoherent and it was an emergency. If it was an emergency, why would you not take me to a hospital in Los Angeles, California, where I speak the language? I don't speak Spanish. I mean, none. Like, I've never spoken Spanish.
She does now because she learned and picked up. I mean, we laugh. I'm not laughing at it. It's just, I've got a relationship with the victim, and we do try to make light of the situation, I guess, is the best way I can put it. But I'm not laughing at her, and it disgusts me what Jenifer Knighton has done to her and what Jenifer Knighton has gotten away with to this day.
Yeah, and instead of stopping to get me help, she drove 5 hours into a foreign country with me incoherent. I remember kind of coming to and being pulled out of my car and Jenifer taking my purse from me, my phone, my identification, everything.
And this was in Mexico, right?
Correct. I believe that was in Tijuana at that point.
It was in Tijuana. That's where Jazmin went when she was first trafficked by her mother.
And then I was driven in that van, and I was so incoherent. I didn't really know what was going on. But when we got stopped again, it was later I found out in Ensenada, Mexico, which is even further into Mexico. And I this gate closed behind us, and I was taken to a house, and I'm thinking oh, this is the dentist.
What location was this?
This was the first annex.
Was this Cramsa?
That's Cramsa.
So we posted pictures of Cramsa and the tattoo face. I know that you guys have all seen the pictures of Juan, Jenifer's boyfriend, who is disgusting and gross, and also evil. Go ahead.
I walked in, and he was the first person I saw. And he was terrifying, and that's when I realized, this is not a dentist appointment. It was a dilapidated 2-story house. There were no windows, just bars on the windows.
Did you go into the part where they stripped you down? You stripped your clothes off?
That's next.
Okay.
That hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
And it smelled like cat urine because stray cats would come in off the street and spray. It was very, very in disgusting conditions. I was taken upstairs by 2 men.
Hold on, pause for a second. Michelle wants to know if the blue or white pill is morphine. It wasn't morphine. Talk about the blue and white pill.
I don't think so. I think it was some kind of sedative from Mexico. They call them pingas. Pingas, pastillas. There's no telling what it was, but
it sedated her to where she was passed out and doesn't even remember going across the border.
Correct. I don't remember crossing the border at all.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I was taken upstairs to this room. They unlocked this door upstairs, and it's dark, and the only thing shining in is the moon, and it's so vivid to me to this day. And my eyes adjust to see, and I see all these eyeballs looking back at me. And I'm what is happening? And they turn on the light, and women pounce on me. There are 20, maybe 25 women in this tiny room in bunk beds, and they're all on top of me, and they're pulling my clothes off. They're throwing a bucket of freezing cold water on me. I'm naked. I'm screaming, I'm an American. I've been trafficked. Because that is the first thing that came to my mind. And I realized right then, I'm in big trouble. I'm in big trouble. And it's amazing how quickly my senses returned.
How you became alert after having cold water on you, I can imagine.
And just the fear, it's sinking in, I am in big trouble right now. It hit me. They put clothes on me. Eventually, I cried and I screamed for a while, but eventually I guess I fell back asleep, passed back out. When I woke up the next day, no one was speaking English, and I was trying to ask where I was. There was one person who did speak English, another girl there in the annexa with me. She did not tell me at first that she was Jenifer's daughter. She acted like she,
This is where Jazmin Perez came into the picture. This is how we found out that Jazmin was also trafficked, because this victim. That's what started mine and Dr. Matthews' investigation into Jazmin and where is Jazmin. Go ahead.
Well, and truthfully, I don't think it started with me. I think it started before.
No, I mean, we learned about Jazmin through you because you were with her in Mexico.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there have been questions about Jazmin, and that's one of the reasons that I reached out prior to me, is because I had seen Jazmin. I will say that in that role, Jazmin was treated better than the other women locked up there. Jenifer would have her bring her gourmet food, while the rest of us would have to eat moldy vegetables and water, and Jazmin would eat them in front of us and make fun of us. It was a very toxic dynamic. It took about 3 or 4 days for me to realize that Jazmin was Jenifer's daughter. She was locked up with us, but she, like I said, she got much better treatment than anyone else.
But she was still also taken against her will to Mexico
No,
at 15 years old. At 15 years old, and has been there ever since.
Yeah, I mean, and you guys should know.
Up until she appears yesterday or this past weekend.
And there was no running water, right? Like
no running water. How many women sharing a toilet?
Like 20 women with no running water. Like you gotta like get a bucket. You gotta take a shower in a bucket. Like it was not sanitary at all. And Jazmin was confined with women. Women were confined upstairs. Men were confined downstairs. There was no medical care there. I never received any. I had been prescribed and had been taking a benzodiazepine Xanax for a long period of time. They just took it away, and I was panicked. I told them I can have seizures. Like, you can't just stop this medication. Thank God, by the grace of God, I did not have seizures. They did not care. I had to lie in bed. Literally. I lied in bed for 5 days. I would say, my family's going to be looking for me. And they would say, you have no family. And I was like, yes, I do. About 3 days in, they come upstairs and they tell me I need to get dressed and put on some makeup. And I do what I'm told. And they make me make a video. And they said, your parents know that you're here. They want you here. And I was so confused. So confused what was happening. Later, I found out that my mom had been reaching out to me. My mom and I are very close, and even though she didn't know where I was, well, at that point, they did know I was in LA because I had gotten arrested, and it all kind of come to a head. But she had reached out to me and been trying to contact me and could not reach me. She had reached out to that friend in LA who told her that I was at my apartment sleeping. They even took a picture of me sleeping in the Annexo and sent it to my mother while they came up with a story. My mom received a picture of me thinking that
Carrie needs to be in jail too, and just so she knows, and I know she's been watching my page too, or Jenifer will relay the message. You guys are both going to jail. I promise you, I won't give up until you're both in jail. Go ahead.
My mom was ready to file a missing persons report when I guess Carrie called Jenifer. Jenifer reached out to my family and set up a Zoom while I'm locked there, and she tells them that I am in a treatment program in Mexico and tells them there's evidence-based practices. And because she is a DWI educator, she was able to sell it. It's not like she was able to say that. She told my mom, my daughter's here. It's a good place. Like, we have therapy. There's doctors, making her.
Should Jenifer paint? Let me just pause right there. I don't know if the article's still up or if Jenifer's taken it down. The article she wrote. Let's talk about the article that Jenifer wrote and how she painted this Cramsa and these Mexico Annexos as a luxury spa with a chef and yoga and all of those things in the article. Like, let's talk about that.
Well, yeah. So I think it's important to maybe do a little education because Jenifer has also preyed on the fact that Americans
don't know.
Are naive to what Annexos are. You say that word in Mexico, people know what you're talking about. She will spin it as a lockdown rehab, and she wants the public to believe that they are legal. They are not legal even in Mexico.
That's right.
That doesn't mean they don't exist. That does not mean that people don't use them out of desperation. It does not mean that the Mexican authorities always do something about them. But it is not illegal in Mexico for you to take someone against their will and put them somewhere where there are guards, abuse, confined conditions, and not let them go without a court order. There was never a court order. Jenifer will tell you a family can sign you in Mexico. That is not true. And if you want evidence of that, just in the last 2 or 3 months, the Mexican government has begun crackdowns on Annexos, and they describe the exact conditions that I'm telling you about. Deprivation of liberty, there are human trafficking elements, cartel involvement, minors.
Sex trafficking.
Sex trafficking, minors being held as adults, labor trafficking, coercion, abuse, even murder. Because the punishments in these places are so extreme. And what it is that in Mexico there is a lack of mental health and substance abuse care. The government does not have funding for that, and the problem is exploding. So people on the underbelly of society have started opening these places, and they're in houses. They're just in houses, and they call themselves the Nexos, and they claim to be like community treatment centers, and they are often ran by people who have cartel involvement, who themselves are addicts and can't, re-enter society, so they open up one of these.
Well, tell them about one. I mean, what is he called there?
A padrino. So in Spanish, padrino.
And that's the face tattoo guy, the heroin addict.
It means Godfather, but they use it in a Nexos because they loosely base it on a really messed up form of like AA or NA. However, it is not. They don't work on the 12 steps. It's literally the only steps they work on are steps 4 and 5, which are to make a fearless searching moral inventory, and then step 5, admit to yourself and another the exact nature of your wrong. So the whole time that you're there, the whole purpose is to admit what you did bad and then be punished for it for over and over and over. Like, it was like a confession. It was like an interrogation. They would sit me down, one specifically, and be like, I can't help you unless you tell me what you did. And they'd be like, you harmed your children. You did this. We're not going to ever let you go if you don't tell me this. And
brainwashing.
I stayed pretty strong. They would tell me my family didn't love me anymore. They didn't want me. One of the most, I know this isn't going to sound super traumatic, but to me it was traumatic, is one day they called all the women downstairs, and we go downstairs and they say, we have donations. And there's like trash bags, and they pour the trash bags out on the floor, and it's clothing and belongings. And then I realized, and the women are like fighting for them because there's such a lack of resources. When I realized they were my clothing, and they laughed at me and told me that my family didn't want me anymore, so I didn't need my things. And I had to sit there and watch other women wear my clothes walking around, and being told, don't steal your things back.
Dr. Matthews is on. Hey, Dr. Matthews.
That is psychological abuse in the worst way, because it was like my identity. Like, I did not exist anymore.